Chiroprator podcast. This is episode 4, and today we have a special guest, Dana Anderson. Let's give it up for Dana. So not only a trail veteran, but
Sure.
but also a chiropractor. So you actually know what the heck you're talking about.
Or I seem to act like I do.
Okay, well, that's close enough for this podcast. So, obviously, first we're going to start with little tenacity because we all like beer. So, all right, so I'm going to try and actually pour a decent beer here because we kind of make a thing of this every time because I'm just horrible at pouring beer for some reason. I think I get a little rushed.
Yeah.
But, okay, so tenacity, got a little Farmer's Daughter, a little IPA. It's pretty tasty. And now we can get rolling.
Sounds good.
So, Dana, tell me a little bit about yourself. Little background as far as all things are running, and also you're a doctor.
Yep. I've been practicing chiropractic for the last 18 years, 15 years in the greater Genesee County area. Grew up in Southwest Michigan originally, then to Indianapolis, to St. Louis, back to Indy, and then to here.
So are you a state fan, a U of M fan, or none of the above?
I am a U of M fan.
Okay.
And that actually has more to do with didn't like people that went to state.
Ooh, all right. Little fighting words.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so grew up Michigan.
Typical Michigan guy, played sports, outdoors,
Running.
everything like that. No, I was not a runner.
Okay.
I was basketball, soccer, tennis, baseball, everything else.
Anything but running.
Anything but running. My dad was a runner.
All right.
He was a marathoner.
Ah.
I had no interest in it whatsoever if I wasn't chasing some form of ball. It wasn't until I actually got into chiropractic school and got relatively large in weight that I needed to do something about it. So I decided to strap on some running shoes and give it a shot.
All right. So like a lot of people, a lot of people probably watching, a lot of people in the community, they pick up running to get into shape. They want to change their life a little bit because things might be getting a little out of control. So they pick up running to shed some pounds.
I did, and then I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. Just like anything else, I picked it up, was not good at it,
Yeah.
did not know what I was doing. I pretty much did it wrong, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I really, really did. So I found a way to make it work for me.
Yeah.
And then studied, research, trial and error, and everything else, and here I am.
See, yeah. So one thing that we're going to kind of talk about throughout this podcast is running happy for life.
Correct.
Now, run happy, sorry, Brooks, don't mean to fringe on your trademark there, but running happy for life. I mean, what is that?
It's the ability to gain the joy and the love of running just for as long as you want to do it, okay? So that means that injury isn't stopping us from doing it. It is not a selfish endeavor, being away from our family, doing those runs, making it a social thing, making it part of our life, and just really, really getting all that can be gained from running forever.
Okay.
The biggest misconception I see in my office, and I hear in my office, and I hear it all the time is, well, my doctor told me I shouldn't run because I have X, or maybe I shouldn't do it because of Y. The only people that shouldn't run are those that hate to run. There's other things. And we're going to talk about running because we're in a running store.
There you go.
We're both runners, but
Yep.
this could be walkers, this could be swimmers, this could be cyclists, this could be whoever. But it's just an opportunity, a way for us to be able to do the thing we love for life.
Yeah, and it's not all about, getting the miles in all the time. It's also about that social journey that you get along the way of, this can be fun, and you can meet a lot of cool people doing this. And regardless if it's exercise or not, it's kind of a cool social experiment.
It is. And we got to be honest with it. None of us are professionals.
Yep.
So we got to have balance.
I don't get a paycheck from winning races.
No, actually, we pay to go to them.
Oh yeah. I pay a lot of money to do it.
Yeah, we pay to do it. But we got to have that balance. You know, we have to balance social, our families, our work with this endeavor. And this is just, our conversation is going to be a way where we can easily transition into those phases of our life. And if some of us are lucky enough, we run with our loved ones.
Yeah.
Or, you know, for me, I get lucky because running translates into my job. I treat a lot of local runners. I treat a lot of people with running injuries. They see me at events. They see me at these things. It gives me credibility. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm not winning them. I'm a middle of the packer to back of the packer, but we're there doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of us anyways.
Yeah.
But I do it with a smile on my face and a beer in a hand when we're done.
So talking about all of that stuff, why don't you give us just a little bit background into like the medical side?
Sure.
Because you're a chiropractor, you see all sorts of different people. They could be, you know, plant workers, or they could be athletes. You see them all, you treat them all.
You know, one of the misconceptions that I see a lot in my office is that you're a chiropractor, you treat back and neck. That's it. And that's, some chiropractors, that's what they choose to do. You know, we come out of school, based on whatever school you go to, with a pretty diverse knowledge of the human body and the workings of the body. I've chosen to go on and study a little bit more into the functional nature of the body, how it all works together, how the ankle works with the knee, how the knee works with the hip.
So you like to geek out.
I'm a geek. I love this stuff. I'm a nerd. I've done the studying for you.
Embrace it.
And
Embrace it, buddy.
I've read the books. If you doubt me, I'll give them to you. But I've chosen to look more within that kind of how the body's supposed to work. And it's real easy to ascertain what's going wrong when you watch someone walk with a limp and you're like, that ain't right. And you can work backwards. You can reverse engineer the problem within that. I don't care if it's from long periods of standing at GM. I don't care if it's long periods of sitting behind a desk. I don't care if you're kneeling because you're a kindergarten teacher. It doesn't matter. The human body is the human body. It reacts in a certain way. The stressors put on it, they're not important, but how the body responds to it are. Now,
and how to correct it.
And that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, and what I try to do in the office, coming and seeing me, or going and seeing your primary, or going to see the orthopedic surgeon, that's not health. That's not. Health is what happens the days you're not in our offices. We try to set you up with the tools and the skills necessary to keep your butt out of my office. People always laugh. They're like, well, if I don't come see you, how do you make money? Because you'll tell all your friends.
The ones that are broken.
The ones that are broken.
To come see you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's, in the last 18 years of being a chiropractor, doing chiropractic, I've seen a lot. And actually the biggest thing now is we transition from overuse issues to underuse issues. We're no longer, because we are so sedentary and so technology driven, it inhibits the body and how it's supposed to work. And then we go out on the weekends and play 18 holes of golf, or we play church league softball.
Or go run an ultra.
Yeah, or go do an ultra. And come Monday morning, or not even that. We just finally had a nice weekend here in Michigan.
Yeah.
My Monday morning was full of gardeners who wanted to get in the yard, and now they're wrecked and ruined.
They spread too much mulch.
You got it. Yeah. Spread stones, spread mulch. And again, that activity is no different than me and you running in the woods, someone swinging a softball bat, someone swinging a golf club. The body doesn't care how it happened. It responds the same way.
What kind of advice do you give to people as they come in?
It's really patient and patient dependent.
Yeah.
It really is. What we do is we take a look at the individual itself, kind of a whole. What I mean by that is, how are we physically? What I mean by that is, are we extremely tight? Are we extremely weak? Most of the time, people come in and they're either do not have the ability to properly move, mm-hmm. or they do not have the ability to stabilize through that motion. Based on that, they're going to get a protocol of exercises, either mobility-based exercises or stability-based exercises.
So a lot of the times it boils down to just imbalances.
Yes.
I mean, that's
movement,
a lot of the time.
A movement pattern imbalance, or it's a lack of motion in the proper joint, or muscular imbalances. Now, based on the individual, they're going to get varying degrees. If I have someone that's already in the gym 5 to 6 times a week and they're training, they're doing all this, that's something I can help them with. If it's somebody else that's really doesn't have a base knowledge to go off of and they're kind of lost, that's the person I'm referring to a physical therapist also.
Okay.
In line with what I'm doing. Yes, that's right. I refer to physical therapy. A good quality physical therapist and myself working together can get a patient better a lot faster for life, as we're talking about.
That's the dream team right there.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And, and when those two things are put together and used properly based on a patient-centered approach, you win.
Okay.
Everybody does.
Very cool. So with Running Happy for Life, we kind of break it down into 2 different aspects. That health aspect, that we talked about, why you picked up running in the very beginning, which a lot of people, pick up running or walking for that matter, but also that social side. So you have those 2 different sides of being happy.
Yep.
Do you think one is more important than the other?
No, because they're not. They're paired.
Yeah,
they really are, because the social aspect of it's huge because of that camaraderie, that connection, that need. But yet, being alone, running in the woods, sometimes it gives you as much bliss as anything else. With this being happy, when it comes to exercise base, and again, I don't care what you chose, your why you're doing it has to be very, very strong.
Yeah,
because that's what has to get you motivated on the days you're not motivated.
Well, and I mean, it probably also depends on that why. For someone who is maybe overweight, maybe borderline obese, and they're trying to lose that weight, well, that health aspect is probably a little bit more important right now than the social side of it.
Sure.
But that social side will drag them through, like you said.
Yeah.
That'll get them that motivation to come out, every Thursday, a complete runner for a group run. Or, whatever the case is, for crim training, for any kind of training program, or just to go run with some friends.
Yep.
So I guess it kind of depends on, what that goal is.
And it's the individual.
Yeah.
Everybody's out for, a crim. 10,000 runners and 10,000 different reasons why we're here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's so powerful about it. I try to tell people will come in and they'll say all the time, well, I got to run. I shake my head. I'm like, why do you have to run? Because,
someone chasing it?
Yeah, and that's it. Well, my doctor says I need to lose weight. Well, do you want to run? No, I hate running. Then please find something else to do. Now, we talk about, the funniest part is vanity is an almighty motivator.
For sure.
On its own. But so many people start for that reason. But that's not why they keep going back.
Yeah.
Mine was started because of being overweight, being out of shape. I had a hard time seeing how anybody should take my advice at all with health and exercise when I wasn't living that way.
Yeah.
I was a hypocrite.
Yeah, it's tough to be the expert when
you're living a certain way.
It's like the doctor who smokes.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry if any doctors smoke out there.
So my biggest thing with our patients is, why are we doing this? And it's got to be more than I want to lose weight. Okay, great. I'm glad that, but why? So much more than that. I want to lose weight because I want to play with my kids. Yeah. I want to be able to chase my kids. That's perfect. That's a visceral.
Yeah, that's a motivator.
That's a motivator. That's a connector. I have some elderly patients because I want to chase my grandkids, because I want to walk the dog. I want to do these things, and those are great. Those are all great motivators. It really doesn't matter what your why is, as long as it's strong and it means something to you. For me, it started weight loss.
Yeah.
And then it became, man, I like this. I really do. And then I met a great group of people, that I get to run with on a regular basis. And then it became running with patients, showing people that lifestyle. And now it's my kids.
Yeah.
And now it's transitioning that into the next generation, running with my son, running with my daughter, running with my wife.
Yeah. which is cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's,
Oh, it's great.
Picking it up and excelling and doing well, and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which obviously, happy for life.
That's it.
That's the whole point.
That is the whole point.
Running happy for life. We got the why. The health and social aspects of it. Huge motivators on that, but more detail to it of the how. Like everyone has grand ideas of I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to set this goal. How do you get there?
People believe running is as simple as tying your shoes and going out and doing it.
Isn't it?
I hope they continue.
Yeah.
Because my kids need to go to college. One of the things we have to look at, the how, we have to break this down into subsegments, okay? It's going to be proper training, proper injury prevention, which means our non-running activities, proper recovery.
Okay.
So what do we do after a run? Proper nutrition.
What do you do before,
during, and after a run? My favorite is I went out my stomach hurt so bad on that 10K because I ate 9 gels.
With no water.
With no water whatsoever. Don't eat it. Don't eat it.
I don't like water because it makes me have to pee.
Yeah.
So
there's many different factors within this, and obviously in my job, what I see people as this has all failed.
Yeah, you see the crumpled up remnants of chaos.
My joke is I take care of the twos, the TOOs, which means you went too far, too fast, too soon.
Yes. Yeah. The twos.
The twos. That's what I take care of. But when we look into this, and there's all kinds of programs. People utilize a couch to 5K.
Yeah.
A couch to 10K.
A lot of them are out there. Yeah.
A lot of online programs and everything else. But the thing we need to understand, those are cookie cutter. Okay. I'm not saying everybody needs a coach. I'm not saying that, but we have to intuitively listen to our body and intuitively train for that. What I mean by it is, if it feels like crap today and you don't want to do it, maybe today is not the day to do it just because a little piece of paper says Monday is this.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. The big part of it we probably should start with is training in general. Okay?
What's the plan look like?
Have a plan.
Is it realistic?
Yes. Yeah. If you have run nothing more than 2 miles and you want to do that half marathon in 6 weeks and you've never run before, that might be a bad idea. That might be a bad idea. So when we look at training is setting a plan and being realistic with said plan. I've never run a 5K. Maybe I should do that first. And then, you know what? Maybe I should do a 10K. And the biggest reason for that is with each success breeds confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
And it also breeds experience.
I mean, you think back to like that first race that you did, maybe it was a 5K or whatever it was, and what you've learned from that, and now, you're doing ultras, and that 5K, I mean, that's still a hard effort. That's still a race. But now the mentality behind it is, I'm prepared for it. I know exactly what to do. And now I can do 50 miles. I can do, you're signed up for a 100-miler.
We'll see how that goes. I remember 7th grade track running the quarter mile. And at about 300 yards thinking I was going to die. And that was because there was no plan, very little training,
and you didn't want to be there.
And I did not want to be there.
I did not want to do that.
So when we look at the training aspect of it, utilizing an online tool is great. That's fine. Local knowledge is better.
For sure, yeah.
Local running stores, talking with other people that have run said programs. Being part of those running groups, crim training groups is one of the best example out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
There is no better.
A lot of experience. They give you a program.
Yes.
If you haven't signed up for that, you missed this year, but maybe try next year because it's a cool program.
It's a great program, and what it does is it gives us a game plan, a loosely written game plan of, you know what, here's a metric of where I've got to be during a certain time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything has to be that amount. But again, that experience that it breeds, that experience of how your body feels running 6 miles, how your body feels running 7 miles. One of the biggest things is, I've never felt this way before. I've never had my stomach go south. I've never had my legs tighten up. I've never had these things.
It's unknown territory for a lot of people.
It is.
Until they get there, and that's why you train for it.
Yeah.
And instead of just jumping in and going, you know what, I'm going to do a half marathon. See what happens.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people do, and we see them walking at 8 miles, 9 miles, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're out there, they're giving it a shot, and they're learning. But there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
There's a better way to do it.
So injury prevention, I mean, what do you are there certain exercises, or are there certain people you should go see to figure this out? I mean, what's kind of the advice on how do you get rid of injuries or stay away from them?
Injuries are one of those things. And by injury, let's define injury real quick. Injury means I have to take time off of running. Okay. Not last weekend I pushed farther than I've ever done before and I'm really sore on Monday and Tuesday. Okay? I'm talking about if I were to be chased by a bear, I couldn't run. Not I'm running on sore, tired legs. I don't want to run.
Two different things.
But I couldn't run. Time off.
Eaten by a bear or you get away.
We are starting to see just catastrophic injuries in our younger population, and we're seeing these same injuries throughout all age. So this is not I'm an older runner now, so it's just part of running. That's not it. What happens with running a lot of times is it does not train all the muscles efficiently. Okay?
Your stabilizers, your core, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So what we have to do is we have to supplement running. Now, what that means is an individual difference. You know, me and you might not need the same exact protocol. We might not need the same thing. But the only way we're going to figure this out is by challenging the system with other than running. Okay? We see less injury in triathlon. Now, you being a triathlete, you know firsthand, you train many different ways within that.
Yeah.
Your legs get a little bit of break when it's time to cycle. Your legs get it when we're swimming, but yet we're training those other muscle groups, okay? One of the biggest things I talk to about runners is you've got to train upper body.
What are you talking about? This doesn't carry me. My legs carry me.
And that's completely wrong. You know, it's that do a freaking push-up, man. Do a pull-up. I'm not asking for a lot here.
Yeah.
Just do something. So when we talk about injury prevention, it's going to be, I know, I got to stretch. No, that's got about this much to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, foam rolling, massage therapy, Graston techniques, physical therapy techniques, but it's a day in and day out basis. It's having a program set up saying, you know what, I need to do squats. I need to do deadlifts. I need to do lunges. I need to do these things because that's the power train.
So strengthening that core helps offset some of those imbalances that, you know, everyone has that's different.
Yeah. And it's funny because people come in and they'll say, man, I got knee pain with running. Running's bad for your knees. No, bad running.
Yeah.
Bad running.
Let me see your form. Let me see your gear. Let me,
Yeah. So we when someone comes in and we're evaluating them, a couple of things we talk about is number one, form.
Yeah. You
know, what does it look like? First of all, I should not hear you coming behind me a half mile away. If you sound like a Clydesdale bearing down on me, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Number two, what are we wearing? Okay? Because we need to be fitted with proper shoes. All right? Yes, I'm glad you got those for $20 at Myers, but they're the reason why we're having this problem.
Yeah.
Okay? And that does not mean you got to spend $150 on a pair of shoes, but you need a quality pair of shoes.
Good pair of shoes, yeah.
A good pair of shoes.
For you.
You. Oh, exactly.
Like, not hey, my friend said, sorry, Brooks, but my friend runs in Brooks, and so I need a Brooks.
Yeah.
Brooks might not be for you.
That's correct. And the other part with that is be comfortable moving away from something you've known. I've run in shoes before where I've loved the 1, 2, and 3 models. 4 came out and it was garbage.
Yeah.
And then I went to something else and then maybe came back or maybe just went in a different direction.
They do change.
They do change. And I don't know why sometimes. Just change the color and leave the shoe alone. But it's that fitting of the proper. Everybody's different. We're an experiment of one, an N of one. So it's fitting that person with the right thing. Hey, these are a good pair of shoes for you. These are some good exercises based on your gait pattern dysfunction that you have. Now, we can go on, and there's actually, we'll have it linked.
Yeah, we'll throw some links up.
There is
Dana's favorite links.
There's a great YouTube video by a doctor by the name of Dr. Mark Cucuzella on YouTube. Okay? And it's just called Natural Running Form. All right?
Sounds
pretty simple.
Basic.
And you will be kind of surprised when he explains it in very layman terms of how we're supposed to run. And you're going to look at it and go, well, that looks quite simple. And then when he puts you through a couple simple tests to see if that's what you do, you're going to see how far away you are. Yeah. And, you can watch we just had the London Marathon.
Yeah.
And I watch it and go, oh, that's how it's supposed to look. Because that's not me.
The elites make it look so easy and effortless.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize how fast they're moving. But they're
42.
Flying.
They are. So within that portion of it, we have to first be comfortable with accepting the fact that we're flawed.
Yeah.
Our gait is going to be wrong or off. We're going to have imbalances. If we accept this parameter, if we accept this premise, we then can set forth a program of fixing it. Mm-hmm. And that's all we really want.
Which, we do good form running and walking classes here. And one of the things on those, we do Coach's Eye videos, side video of people when they run or walk. And we do a before and an after. And it's amazing when you actually visually see yourself because your brain thinks you're doing one thing. And then you see yourself and you're like, I'm not doing anything near what I thought I was. Yeah. And, it just really highlights, like you said, those, I don't want to say flaws, but those imbalances that you need to work on. Oh, holy cow, I am a huge heel striker. How do I fix that?
I could say right now, arguably, 75% of the running injuries I see could be cleaned up if someone would come to that class.
Yeah.
And take a look at their actual form. Because if their form is wrong, yet they know what they're supposed to be doing, that means the body can't perform that the right way.
Yeah.
Then that allows us to identify glute max, glute med, piriformis, oblique work, blah, blah, blah,
Get
blah,
in
blah,
the
blah.
gym.
Get in the gym. Do a freaking squat, man. Well, I run hills. I bet you do. With bad form, and here we go.
They're all over the place.
All over the place. Other part with training. And this is stolen. I didn't invent this. The whole concept is stress plus rest equals growth. We do not get better on the days we run. We get better on the rest days and recovery days.
You just can't hammer it every day?
Every day. My favorite is race pace is 8-minute pace. Recovery is 8:15.
Oh, you're diving the back.
And I can't figure out why I'm hurt all the time.
I'm so tired.
I'm so tired. I'm running. To give you an example, when I changed my perspective is Elliot Kipchoge. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the best of the best. That's all there is. We're talking 2:01:30 whatever marathon.
Just a specimen. Obviously the greatest marathoner in history.
He will break 2 hours.
Yeah.
He will. He runs a 4:42 race pace. His recovery runs are done at 9:30. So if the greatest runner in the world ever can slow down by 5 minutes,
so can you.
Us back of the Packers can slow down by 3 or 4.
No. Yeah, any of the people that I've known who, race professionally or, race at a high level, that's their secret formula. Yeah. Is when they race or when they train hard, they train hard. But on the recovery days, they back it way down.
They actually
and
recover.
that's where you get your gains.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the same thing is like with weightlifting and any of that kind of stuff. Your days of recovery, that's actually where you make your gain. That's where you actually get ahead.
We can go on and on and on, but one of the premises, I'm sorry I forgot, is we can't have junk miles or junk reps.
Yeah.
Every workout has to have a specific goal in mind. When you go out, when you strap the shoes on and you go out, you need to think, hey, this run is simply to get my legs ready for the long run this Saturday. This run is supposed to help me with my lactate threshold.
Yeah.
This is leg turnover. This is whatever. Same thing with the gym. This set is to help me get my glutes stronger to better stabilize my hips so I can get my foot behind me and get my strike pattern the right way. This oblique work I'm doing is to help stabilize my core for counter rotation when it's necessary. We can't go in there and be like, I have no idea why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, this is.
I saw some guy with muscles doing this one. I saw some girl with great legs doing this one. I saw some older guy with great abs doing this one. You gotta have a well-defined goal for each workout.
Yeah.
And if you're really many years ago in a Runner's World magazine, I saw Amby Burfoot, great American runner and writer.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, Amby, some days after work, I'm too tired and I don't feel like doing my run. What should I do? And his response was, take a nap.
Yeah, don't run.
Take a nap. Here was it though. If you sleep for less than 20 minutes, get your lazy butt up, put your shoes on and go for the run. You just needed a little pick-me-up.
Yeah.
If you sleep for longer than 20 minutes, your body needs to rest, take the day off.
Yeah.
Once again, listen to your body.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm sorry if it's I just want to have a beer and stay home. Maybe that's listening to your brain. I guess next we got to talk about proper nutrition.
What?
Yeah.
Says
the man drinking beer.
You have to fuel the body? What? You're talking about like calories, candy bars?
Yeah. Hey, how far are you running?
Yeah. Simple sugars.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what's your kind of go-to for nutrition on long runs? Because obviously now you're doing some longer stuff. You actually just did 50K.
Did a 50K?
Did a 50-mile last year.
Yep.
Stepping up to big boy miles at the 100-mile.
The 100-mile distance. Yep. I will try to do the solo 100. My goal, let's say it this way. A goal, sub 24 hours.
Okay.
B goal, sub 28. C goal, finish.
Just get it done.
Just get it done.
There you go.
Now nutrition, everybody thinks about food, number one, with nutrition, okay? And I guess we could split it and say nutrition and hydration. But I think the single most important part has got to be water.
Yeah.
It's got to be water.
I think people aren't drinking enough, just even plain water, let alone sports drinks with calories and electrolytes and blah, 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 blah. They're just
flat out
not taking stuff in.
We are a simply dehydrated society, and that's all there is to it. And I don't care if it's because caffeine is causing, you read it, you don't buy it.
All the diuretics.
Yeah, the diuretics, exactly. But we sometimes scare yourself and Google, the symptoms of dehydration.
It's like my daily life.
Yeah, it's exact. Oh my God! I mean, headaches, lack of concentration, cramping, this, that, and the other.
I thought it was something else.
Yeah, so we look at it, and I'm not saying you need to carry a hydration vest for a 5-mile run, but if you're out for a 6-mile run and it's above 50 degrees, you have to replace water. You have to. Well, I wasn't thirsty. Okay.
Oh, it was cold.
It was cold, exactly. You still need to replace it some. Now, a lot of the research being done out there with ultra runners, especially because of time on legs and duration, you drink to thirst. You do. But the problem is, by the time you're thirsty, it's too late. You're already dehydrated. I think Alex Hutchinson in his book Endure said, by the time you're thirsty, you've also already lost 30%. You're never going to recover that, because when you try to recover that, that's sloshing around.
Yeah, so you're so far behind, and if you don't stay ahead of it, then all of a sudden you can't catch up.
And back to planning.
And now GI distress,
You got
whatever the case is.
And if you've never had GI distress, you paint the side of the trail. and your shoes. It's awesome.
Not recommended.
Not recommended. And especially when it comes to something as simple as
But it leads to a good story or two.
It does. It does. And mine always start with Brussels sprouts. But, you know, so water has got to be the simple, most important element that we need to put back in the system. Now, we get lucky because water is a wonderful medium to transfer other things into us.
Yeah.
Electrolytes, calories, simple sugars, whatever the case may be. Now, based on your distance running, kind of will dictate what you truly need.
For sure.
You know, if you're running a 5K, water's just fine.
Yep.
If you're running a 10K, water's just fine. Now, as we start to creep up from that, due to glycogen burn and other things we're burning, yes, replacing some simple sugars with certain products that can be added to water, which I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
I'm going to give a shout out to Tailwinds.
There you go.
Love Tailwinds. Tailwinds is a wonderful product for me because it adds 200 calories, but it also is 12 ounces of water going into the system.
And you know exactly how your body responds to it.
Yes, because it's on training runs, I've tried it. Do not, please, and I repeat, do not show up race day deciding, hey, today is the day I'm going to try 5-hour energy.
I saw an ad for this. I think it would do really well today.
I had a friend of mine, Indianapolis Mini Marathon, good friend of mine, decided that morning would be the 5-hour energy test. 6 porta potties later, he dropped out of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably won't be doing 5-hour energy again.
No, and hey, I'm not saying anything's wrong with 5-hour energy, but that guy running 5-hour energy had not been tested prior to.
Yeah.
So water is a great delivery mechanism for whatever we need. It's the most important thing in the human body. Think about it. We can live out food for how long? 7 to 10 days. We can live out water like 5.
Yeah.
And then we die because it's that important. Now here comes the flip side. Hypernatremia. You do not need to drink 10 ounces of water every mile that you're running.
But I'm so thirsty.
Yeah. If you're waterlogged, you know, they've had people die in marathons because they drank so much water.
Yeah, it's an actual thing.
It is.
You can drink too much water, where basically you just leach out all of your electrolytes, all of your minerals.
You dilute it so bad, it stops functioning. The muscle stops functioning. Cardiac and everything else be number 1. So water's got to be number 1. Yeah.
Okay. So water's number 1. What's number 2?
We can break it. Just simply make it calories.
Okay.
And this is not a debate. It's not like that because everybody's a little bit different. You're going to find some high carb people. You're going to find some high fat people. So it really is going to break down into what works best for us, okay? Me personally, I do fat adaptive, so I do more fat than carb, and that's what works well for me.
Works well for you, yeah.
Now that is on what I'm going to say a day in and day out basis. Race day is a little bit different. We just raced a 50K. 50K is a little bit different because of time on legs and sustained legs. You're burning the crap out of everything. So in that case, I use some simple carbohydrates, some sticky rice, and some other concoctions.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yep. That work just fine for me. But I also focus on nut butters and whole nuts themselves, certain products along those lines. You know, one of my favorite things, and someone showed it to me a while ago, is I take half an avocado, I put it in a Ziploc bag with salt and lime juice, and I mash it up, bite the end off, and my own little gel.
All right.
And it's outstanding. But that's what works well for me. That really does. I don't do well with some of the packaged products.
Okay.
You in the store
like some of the bars, the gels, stuff like that.
You in the store have Torque, the brand Torque.
Yep.
That works wonderful for me.
Okay.
That is a great product that I put into my system that works really, really well for me. Now comes that savory versus sweet.
Oh yeah.
Salty versus this.
That's always a debate.
Yeah, it is. You know, one of the best things about ultra running is it's a really long buffet. Every 4 miles, you get to hit a buffet. You know, what works well for you? And I've learned a couple things. Apples don't work well for me.
I mean, apples shouldn't work well for anyone
Nope.
Except for Holly.
Yeah. Who knew?
I know.
Who knew? But it's funny because pickles are phenomenal when you're really tired.
Pickles, pickle juice.
Yep.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh yeah.
Potatoes and salt.
Quesadilla.
Oh.
Quesadilla is great, but I got to tell you, I am not a pop drinker.
Yeah.
Not.
So flat Coke.
The single greatest thing I've ever tasted in my life.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason Grindle.
Yeah, there you go.
At 40-something miles of my 50-mile race, they had warm, flat Coke, and you would have thought God himself had placed it in my mouth.
I know. It's an amazing...
It was amazing.
Magical elixir.
And it's funny, though, because a lot of times, back to that intuitive kind of listening to our body, man, I want something salty. Then eat something salty. It's telling you.
Yeah, have some pretzels. Have the potato with the salt. Just have the salt. You know?
And we can go round and round and round. And I know right now we could list them off. We could talk about we got Mediterranean, we got keto, we got primal, we got paleo, we got
Where's the pizza?
Yeah,
I'd like to be on the pizza diet. Is that a thing?
I am a keto eater.
Okay.
Minus Saturdays. Because Jets does something wonderful
there you go.
to me.
So Jets Pizza.
Jets,
big shout out.
You're welcome. So it breaks down to that experiment of one. What works for us? What doesn't? But
go figure.
I prefer one thing. You might eat it a different way.
Yep.
But getting it from whole food, real food, if you will.
Real food is always the best.
Is always going to be the best.
A lot of the supplements, a lot of the nutrition that that we carry. I mean, they're convenient. They're easy.
Yes.
You can't always run with a ham sandwich in your back pocket.
Can't.
So it gives you calories, it gives you electrolytes, and all that kind of thing. But natural is always best.
Your products in store are race day specific for me.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is those things are listen, you're not wearing a backpack on that race. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So those are prepared package. You know how much calories. You've tried them in training runs.
You figured it all out.
Yeah. My thing with nutrition is more based on day in and day out of the 16-week training plan, getting your body ready, recovering, and doing everything else. Race day is a different category altogether because it's whatever it takes to get your butt through that distance.
For sure.
Who knows? When I did that 50-mile race, I'd never run more than 31. So I had 19 miles to try to figure out. And again, like I said, warm, flat Coke.
That's like a whole nother race.
That was. And for some reason, the only thing I craved more than that was a freaking hot dog. I hadn't had one of those in years. Driving home, my wife says, "What sounds good?" A hot dog.
I would like a hot dog. So, I mean, here's kind of the big debate. And we're going to get really serious here. Twizzlers or Red Vine?
First of all, if you eat Red Vines, you're a communist. And I'm talking Stalin age communist.
You have quite an opinion on this, I can tell.
Oh,
there's no gray area.
I'm TJ Grindle. Red Vines do not exist at Ragnar this year. Calling her out. There is. If those aren't that familiar with Ragnar is a wonderful way to get that social atmosphere.
It is. Great
running,
great social atmosphere.
A good group of 12 or 6 friends, 8 to 4 if you're doing the trail. And one Ragnar, we lived off of beef jerky, combos, and Twizzlers.
What more do you need?
Which is completely wrong on this nutritional aspect of what we're talking about.
Forget everything we just talked about.
Yes. And again, whatever it takes to get you through the finish line.
Exactly. So you also wanted to talk a little bit about a cool book that you had read, Spark.
Yeah, yes. We've talked about a lot of the overall health benefits of running. Yes, it does help you lose weight.
Yep.
Yes, it does help you use sugar more efficiently within the body. Yes, it does add smooth muscle to increase your metabolism, do these other things. It breeds confidence within you. Dr. Rattay wrote a wonderful book called Spark, S-P-A-R-K.
Okay.
Now, this whole premise of this book is on all the scientific research of what moderate exercise, mostly jogging is what he used as his metric, does to the actual human brain.
Okay, so what my reaction to that jogging is, or
Yep.
you know, what the stimulus, whatever you're applying to it.
What it does to the brain.
Okay.
It starts with a
Not like what I'm thinking while I'm doing it, but
no, we're talking actually physiological
like the
change
synapses kind of.
to the human brain.
Okay.
It actually, I consider myself a semi-intelligent person. Okay. It changed my whole outlook on this thing known as running, exercise.
Yeah.
And this book needs to be read by parents. This book needs to be read by elderly. It needs to be read by everybody because it starts with, in Naperville, Illinois, with a physical education program that should be changing the way school is set up in the United States. But unfortunately, it's not. Just at how exercise primes the brain for learning in adolescence. How it produces this thing called BDNF, which is miracle growth for your brain. So it primes the brain for learning, and then we have to plug it into information, whatever it is. I'm gonna keep it short here. Anybody that needs to learn more or wants to learn more, Spark. This book is amazing. I've given it to so many people at so many different levels. Actually, my brother-in-law, who's a professor, has given it to students who have now started to exercise, who are in the music department, because of how exercise prior to then plugging in the movements necessary for the violin.
So does this book kind of help you understand the process that happens within the brain?
Yeah.
Or does it also give you ideas of how to understand it as you're going through it? What ways you can digest that information to make you a little bit better?
I'm going to tell you this. Those that read this book that already exercise are going to say, I knew it. And there's the scientific proof.
Okay.
That's what it is. And those that have held off maybe, and please, he does use walking also in this. Mm-hmm. And in the Naperville, Illinois study with those students, they did ballroom dancing. They did Dance Revolution. They did kayaking. They did mountain climbing. There was a lot of other things besides just running. Now, through other research, they found that running was I don't want to say just the sweet spot or whatever, but it was a good metric. It was a good metric to be used. But it confirms without a doubt that the activity of running not only primes the brain for learning, it helps regenerate loss. It's being used in alcohol fetal syndrome children to help reprogram the brain, help them learn, learning disabilities, strengthen the brain. It's helped to stave off Alzheimer's, dementia, other factors of that.
So it's like brain food.
It's being used for postpartum depression in women. So men out there that your wife just had a baby, watch the kids so your wife can go exercise. It'll benefit everyone around. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And Dr. Rattay, the gentleman that wrote the book, was the head of the American Psychiatric Association. So this dude that wrote scripts, man.
Kind of knows his stuff.
And he knows his stuff, and it'll change the way it goes. So it comes back full circle to that social aspect of it. Also because he talks in the book about how important it is. So we've had conversations. What's more important for your overall health, right? Is it the 6-mile run? Or is it the grabbing a coffee with 5 friends afterwards?
Yeah.
And enjoying the time spent with friends?
Yeah.
Who cares? I like them both.
Yeah.
I love the argument. Which came first, chicken or the egg? I don't care. I eat both of them. They're delicious. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because this week it might have been the run. Next week,
But next week it might be the coffee afterwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's that a benefit of maybe you actually said something that meant something to Mary. Maybe just being together helped Mary out of something. There's that whole other thing that we don't even see.
Yeah.
And that running happy for life is not just us. It's our community. It's us taking part in the Crim.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
us taking part in London Strong. It's us taking part in these other races that lets people know you're not alone. There's a team. There's a network. Everybody's here. We're trying to do something better. There's that aspect. What I like to do with my kids is pick a 5K, pick a 10K for something that you want to support. Oh, you want to run for Adopt a Pet? Let's do that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go for that run and then play with the puppies when we're done. 'Cause that's a good day. We're not bringing another one
Yeah,
home.
I was just gonna say
We got two,
yeah.
but we're gonna do that. But those are the other things that we can run for others. You know, I just pointed out TJ Grindel's inability to know good
candy,
licorice
yeah.
versus the other. But we a lot of times, me and Brad, a lot of times get to run for Team Ben,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
a great organization that he can't run for himself.
No.
So we do it for him. And that gives me great pride, spend time with my friends, people I care about, and run for a good cause to, gain knowledge and that.
Exactly. And he's, I don't know if you saw, but they just did Wake the Bear.
Yeah,
And
yes.
he had his badass Hoyt wheelchair, and they look pretty sweet.
Those tires look fierce on that thing.
They did.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing those guys out on the Crim course.
Crim course.
And actually, I need to get them in here on a podcast as well.
Without a doubt.
Which would be great. So when you see them, pushing down the street, you know who they are, what they are, and what's going on with it.
Yeah.
Because it's a cool story.
It's a whole nother element.
Yep.
And that's the whole point.
There's so many things
Yes.
that, it's the social stuff, but it's also like the causes along the way.
Yeah.
Like all the, like you said, London Strong, you mentioned that one. Even the Crim. The Crim grew out of that.
Special
Olympics.
Love it. What a great cause.
It's fantastic. And now they're going on 43 years.
43 years of just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And all we have to do as idiots is just strap on some shoes.
No. Sign up. Gotta sign up.
And go do it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do it that fast. Who cares?
Yeah.
People walk it.
Yeah. It's fun.
We last year ran it as tourists.
Oh, that was probably the most fun I've had in a race.
I have not had that much fun in a race.
10 miles of fun.
Yep. This year will not be the much enjoyment for me.
Because you'll be chasing your son.
My 10-year-old son is trying to kill me.
Yeah. Trevor's gonna blaze it.
He's gonna have some fun with it, and Dad's gonna try to keep
Yeah,
up
you're
because
gonna.
there's only a couple more years I'm gonna be able to keep up.
Yeah, he's gonna blow by us all very, very quickly.
So
All right, so continuing on about injury prevention. What else did you want to add?
I want to circle back around real
Okay.
quick. So if I had the opportunity with all of the people that I know, my patients, my friends, whatever the case may be, and they had come to me in the beginning and said, hey, I'm thinking about starting to be a runner, or I'm thinking about starting to be a swimmer, or I'm thinking about walking, or whatever the case may be. I would love the opportunity for them to do a month-long boot camp, a running boot camp, if you will, of just preparing the body for that rigor. Okay?
Yeah.
People don't think that running is natural to the human body, but it is also not abusive in a bad way. But if you're not prepared for it, it's going to break the system down.
Yeah.
There will be energy leaks. There'll be in a certain way. So a lot of times, if you're thinking about running or you're dealing with an injury, please step away from it at that point. Fix the imbalances, and then take care of it. So step one is always, let's look at form. Let's look at that proper running form. Go to your local running store. Have someone work with you to take a look at what that form actually looks like. And then from there, man, I'm a massive heel striker. I lean way back when I run. I'm way out in front, whatever the case may be.
Why am I doing it?
Exactly. We're back to that. Well, and again, then you find knowledge. I don't care what it's through. One of the names I'll mention is Dr. DeSherry. We'll put this in the notes. Dr. DeSherry.
We'll add a link
has some phenomenal books, Anatomy for Runners, Training for Runners. He actually runs the Gait Lab at Nike. Not a bad place.
Okay. Probably knows a little bit
about it. Dr. Cucuzella, what I mentioned before with his running form, it allows us to be preventative with our injuries, instead of reactive. And that's a big deal. So many times people say, well, I tried to run, but I hurt my knee. I hurt my back. I hurt my hip. I hurt my foot. I hurt my this. I hurt my that. You got to understand, this thing known as the human body was made to run. It was made to move. Subsistence hunting. Certain tribes still do it. That's what we were made to do.
Yeah.
I'm not stealing anything from you, Arthur McDougall, and Born to Run. This is just fact. But if it was made to do it, why would it then cause us problems?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing it wrong. It's as easy as that.
And you might not be prepared for it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
We have we have shoes on the wall, that can hurt a lot of people.
Correct.
But there's also a fair amount of people that do just fine in 5 fingers.
Yep.
And the reason why is because their feet are conditioned, their muscles are strong enough, and they're prepared for it. Now, would I just jump in a pair of these and go for a 5-mile run? Probably not the best idea.
No.
But if I work into it and I work on that strength work, all of a sudden that might be a viable option for me.
Without a doubt. And it's from the ground up. It's from the ground up. When we work with our patients, I tell them the bottom of your foot is the most important part. Oh, what do you mean? You have more sensory input in the bottom of your foot than you do your face or your hand.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's on the ground. Well, I have a fallen arch, or do you have a failed arch? Well, what do you mean? Have you been in shoes your whole entire life? Are they overly supportive? Are they overly structured? Whatever else. Walk barefoot. Pick something up with your toes. Well, I can't. That's the problem. And it's funny because as you start to research this, 90% of the time you sit there going, duh. It makes perfect sense. It really does. But that's the way we have to look at this. This is not rocket science. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. The human body is not some mysterious thing.
Do you, kind of to that comment, do you feel that in today's world where you're full of maximal cushion, do you prescribe more to the, like Born to Run, the minimalist type of style, or do you think there's a place for maximal cushion? Or is it somewhere in between? Or is it individual based?
It's individual basis. Okay. It really is. I think there's a time and place for everything. But to be honest with you, in your vein of thought a second ago, I think it works best to go from where we're at now, working towards a minimalistic shoe.
Okay.
Now, we can't make that jump because as we go down from a high stack, which means the heel, something big. There you go. The heel and the toe, that stack working smaller and smaller and smaller, it literally changes the length of the musculature and tendon. Okay? Now, please don't get mad at me here, creationists versus evolutionists or whatever the case may be, but our feet were made to be on the ground, as close to the ground as possible. It's kind of comical that Chuck Taylor Converse still exists. And how many weightlifters...
I was going to say, you see a lot of them in the weight room.
Because we get as much sensory, there's as much proper there. Well, I can't... I pronate. Okay, so what? Do you know why you pronate? Usually because of weakness in the lower foot or the lower leg. Well, I supinate. Again, we're back to weakness somewhere. The foot is not the problem. How it's being used is the problem. That's it. So me personally, I'm a minimalist shoe guy.
Yeah.
That's me. It's funny because Dr. Mark Cucuzella, the video I'm telling people about, you'll see him running barefoot on the asphalt.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about him that's amazing, he's in his 50s, and he's still running sub 3 hours in the marathon. He is a medical doctor. He teaches at the University of West Virginia, and he owns Two Rivers Running Store, which is a minimalistic shoe store in West Virginia. He's quite He's quite open about that. And I fall in that line also, but that's me. It's not for everybody, but that's me. But again, proper gear for the proper person.
So with the plague of plantar fasciitis and a lot of these kind of things, do you think working your way to that minimalist shoe can help with those, or is plantar fasciitis a cause because people are in those?
Well, plantar fasciitis, if it's caused by minimalistic shoes, it's caused because someone went from a high stack over supportive shoe to a neutral shoe.
So one of your twos.
Yeah, one of my twos. Too much, too soon. People need to understand plantar fasciitis, which is ever present now, is caused usually not even by a problem in the bottom of the foot. It's actually caused by a problem within the calf or even the hamstring in some cases. The bottom of the foot, the calf, the hamstring all share the same fascial plane. That means the dynamic stability material that holds all the muscle together all the way down to the bottom of the foot. The problem usually doesn't exist in the bottom of the foot. It can even exist in a weakness in the opposite side, glute medius. Again, back to balance, back to imbalances. When I work with plantar fasciitis, it's figuring out where the problem actually exists. You know, people get lateral releases in surgery. They're not even doing those that much anymore because they fail.
Yeah.
And now we cause more scar tissue in an area that's already adhesed. When someone has plantar fasciitis, we have to work through the weaknesses of the foot, the calf, the hamstring, and the glutes on that same side.
So what is your favorite torture?
Yeah. Self-inflicted or me-inflicting? If it's me-inflicting, we do a technique called Graston. Graston is an advanced physical therapy technique that some chiropractors have chosen to do. We have chosen to do it because of unfortunately, so many athletic injuries. It is not comfortable. A very small portion of my population actually get it, but it works really, really well.
Is it short term, long term?
It's short term.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah. Let me explain my philosophy here, though.
Yeah.
I believe everything should be short term as we're working through what the true cause of the problem is.
Fixing what those imbalances are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, it's like cholesterol medication. For life or for now?
Yeah.
Individual basis.
Well, it matters what you keep eating.
Exactly. And what your genetics are.
Well, that too, yeah.
But for me, it's going to be in office, I'm doing Graston. Deep tissue release massage therapy, foam rolling as our home care, lacrosse ball work, as home care, those type of things. Those are the things that's going to keep it going, okay? Until we can correct the imbalances that lead to it.
Gotcha.
And it's funny because you can argue, well, not everybody can have these imbalances. Oh, okay. Not everybody has pain.
Why not?
Not everybody has problems. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about you right now that gets out of bed in the morning and you want to pee in your pants because of how bad the bottom of your foot hurts.
Yeah. And, we see a lot of those people. I'm sure you see a lot of those people. And is it hard-headedness that they can't fix it? Is it laziness? Or is it just lack of education?
A bit of both. And unfortunately, there's a big chasm, if you will, between podiatrists and what the research is showing right now. One of the things they talk about it now is we've gone full circle where keep your kids out of shoes as long as you can. Yeah. Over-structured shoes at a young age.
I was just going to say, we have the debate here kind of often is, a pronation shoe for a child. Some of the brands make some fantastic shoes that are neutral and pronation. And at those younger ages, do we really want to bring in that pronation shoe for a child that's still developing? And I know there's a lot of different opinions out there.
There's a ton.
But, we kind of feel that, a neutral shoe, the child is going to develop. And if they need pronation down the road, then we can add some of that. But as they're developing, why add that wedge in? Why try and correct them right now?
I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely. We would not naturally brace, or excuse me, unnaturally brace a different area of the body. We would work to strengthen that area of the body to do its job.
Yeah.
So why are we going to take probably the most important part of the body, in argument, the bottom of the foot, the whole foot, in that unnaturally brace it?
Now, I probably just mentioned this, though, that everything that we're talking about, I mean, there are cases that this does not apply.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
A kid is walking on their ankles.
Different animal altogether.
I mean, then obviously but, for the general population of most people that, come into here or come into you don't need that much
with a severe pigeon toe or a severe other problems like that. They're not out running right now. They're working through other problems. This does not apply to them. Yeah. Now, the funny part is they're exactly what we're talking about at the extreme end of the spectrum. I get someone that is severely toe out. That's usually due to hip tightness and everything else. Now, with that much severity, they're out of my office. They're going to physical therapy. Yeah. I have a great physical therapist I work with in Grand Blanc. I'm like, hey, you need to go see this guy because this isn't getting better on its own. And I'm sorry, but even if you really, really, really want to, you're probably not going to be able to take care of it by yourself. Yeah. This is guided. This needs help and probably continued for a while. That's there. So, again, I mentioned it earlier, an N of one, an experiment of one. But yet, we're all similar. And 90% of us all fall within these categories, me included. And now I live in my hypocrisy once again, because yes, I might be wearing shoes I agree with, but the last time I foam rolled or stretched could have been, in 2018. So,
and I mean, obviously, what you're trying to preach is, foam roll not only when you need it, but the days that you don't.
Yeah,
but we sometimes, have a hard time doing it ourselves.
There is a statement out there that, and it's been forever, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of treatment. And it's so true. It is so true. And that's what we're talking about. Injury prevention, proper training, proper gear.
All right. So I gotta ask, I got this beard envy going on right here. This thing is serious. So really, how long have you had that? And how long did it take you to get ready today? Trim that up, put a little oil in there.
So I gotta say, last winter I grew the beard, and last Father's Day was really hot. So actually, no, I take that back. It was last Ragnar.
Oh yeah,
down in Kentucky.
Yeah, yep. Where it's 90 degrees.
Yeah, I had the beard. We came home. I trimmed a small woodland creature off my face.
Little critters kind of like dispersed.
I didn't know it was a habitat. DNR called me after the fact. But I trimmed it off, and I kept it off for a while, and my son kept giving me weird looks. My daughter is just like, your face looks so small. My wife, being the gentle, kind soul she is, how do you like it?
Oh, good.
Which told me that. So in September, I started growing it again. And this time I said, to hell with it, till I can tuck it in my pants.
So I was going to say, like ZZ Top,
Katie, the wonderful lady that cuts my hair, trims my beard every month. But who knew that bacon is good for the soul and the beard?
What?
Bacon, yeah. I'm telling you. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, so you eat bacon? And that's what I got to eat some more bacon.
Yeah, eat some more bacon. Yeah. And I don't know why, but when hairstylists see my beard, they feel the need to give me beard oil. I've gotten a lot. Recently, Boss Man.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, that's one I use.
Yep.
Yeah.
You told me about that product. Yeah. I have not gotten it yet.
Yeah. Based out of Austin, Texas.
Yeah. Big Boss Man. What is it called again?
Boss Man, yeah.
Boss Man,
yeah.
So I'm going to look at that. But according to my wife, she states that on any given day, I might brush my hair once. But I routinely brush the beard 5 to 6
So
times.
The beard's getting a lot of love.
The beard is getting a lot of love. And as long as I keep my top lip clean, she'll kiss me. So we're good.
Okay,
we're good there.
You know the rules at least.
Yeah, I know the rules, and she's very much whatever. Yeah,
It is what it
this
is.
is my teenage
Yeah.
angst at 42, almost 43. So I guess if this is my midlife crisis, I'm doing really well.
Yeah, you're okay.
And people ask me all the time, why? And honestly,
Why not?
why not?
Why not?
And or if you can't, I throw out the because I can.
Yeah, because I mean, I have some employees here that they can't grow this.
Yes, great guys.
Yep, but they're
one day.
Yeah,
one day.
Eventually they'll get there.
And the funniest part about
I don't know if I'll ever get there though.
The funniest part about it, to be honest with you, is I never once in my life thought I would have a beard.
And there it is.
I was very much clean shaven, and not for any. Oh, our beards are bad. No, I just was. That was just me in my office and whatever else. And now I'm like, it's my office, my beard.
Do what I want.
I do what I want.
Yep.
And I don't mean that in a rude way or mean
No,
way.
it's just kind of nice and liberating to.
It's there. And now I can hide stuff in it, like snacks.
Oh, I put like M&Ms in there,
Yeah.
and I got a little snack for later. Pull them out.
Yeah, my daughter really likes it when I put a pencil through it, doing something. She gets a good kick out of that.
So it's entertainment for the kids too.
I'm gonna show up at her school one day with their name shaved in my chest and that pencil.
Yeah, she'll love you forever.
Oh, without a doubt.
One thing we always do on the podcast is big three. So, number one is your favorite race.
My favorite race is Woodstock. Okay,
Good.
And
Fantastic race here in Michigan. Obviously, all trail. It's a great weekend. It's not just a day. It's just not a race. It's a full-on weekend.
it's a festival.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Last year was my first year of doing it, and I'd heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
We went out there and we found camaraderie. We found a extremely well-run race, a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Randy Stepp and all of his minions do a fantastic job putting that on.
Hell's Creek Ranch, thank you for letting us do
Yeah,
it there.
no, for sure, yeah.
It is a massive campsite. It is fun. It is friendly. It is highlighting some of the best trails in the state of Michigan. I made more trail friends that weekend than I ever knew I could. So just Woodstock across the board, from the aid stations to the volunteers to the the people setting it up, the live music, to the other participants. I love running down the road and seeing plates from all the states, everywhere. To the economics professor from the University of Michigan. I hope he finished. He was struggling. It just such a good event. Just such a good event.
Very cool. So, second one is going to be most memorable race experience. This can be good or bad, just the most memorable. Any good stories that you got?
Well, most of my good stories happen on training runs. And my nephew Lincoln loves those, especially if they have to deal with me going into the trees.
Yeah.
It's funny because even the best way late, this was a humbling experience. The most well laid out plans can get ruined.
Oh, for sure, all the time.
Anybody that's lived in Michigan for the last several years knows 6-7 years ago we had an unprecedented spring and early summer. We're talking 80s in March. I had spent the whole winter and early spring getting ready to try to qualify for Boston. I was road running at the time. I had put in 20 weeks of just effort to run an early May marathon in Michigan because great weather, right?
For sure.
Perfect temperature. Ended up being 93 degrees in early May, and it was a death march from start to finish.
So not so much of a Boston qualifier.
No. I had done 14 miles in just awesome time. I was extremely proud of my time. And then at the 14-mile mark, we turned due east into the sun on the highway from hell.
And the wheels
and
fell
it
off.
was off. It was over. The carnage began. It was a Greek tragedy, whatever term you want to use.
Yep.
But what it did is it taught me that even the best laid out plans bend a knee to Mother Nature.
Yeah, the day gives you what it's going to give you.
So you know what? Good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Good days and bad days.
That's the way it works.
You smile, you move on, you chafe,
Yeah.
you know, all the good stuff.
Yeah, that too. Last one is number 3 is the coolest thing you've ever gotten from a race. Any cool swag that you got?
Actually, last year at Woodstock,
Okay.
I finished top 3 in my age group. So
Very
I got
cool.
this awesome little VW bus.
Very fitting for
Very-
Woodstock.
it is. It's quite fitting, but I got to tell you, like I said, for a back of the packer, middle of the packer, besides the ubiquitous metal that you get, that's the first thing I ever got.
Yeah.
It really is, you know. And I was quite.
It's on display.
It's
Isn't it?
Well, my wife,
Yeah.
Jill, was supposed to do a shadow box for me with like my bib and that in there and everything else, but like,
still waiting for that.
Still waiting for that. But that was pretty awesome, and once again, that's a testament to those guys down at Woodstock and how good of a race they put on. It was funny because my original answer was going to be severe chafage, but I didn't want to use.
You actually got something.
Yeah, I got
it. Well, cool. Anything else you wanna add?
You know what? I want to do something I do at the office quite frequently.
Okay.
Okay. I normally look.
You drink beer in the office?
I would love to, but the waitress doesn't come
Yeah,
around
I was gonna
often
say
enough. With our patients, I like to kind of revisit. I understand I talk a lot, and I throw a lot. A
lot of information.
A lot of information. Yeah. I get very excited about this. I love talking about this.
You're passionate about it.
I'm very passionate about it. And it's funny because sometimes patients come back and they're like, you're so motivating about this. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I can't.
Yeah.
Again, my wife doesn't enjoy it nearly as much. But I like to just kind of revisit what we talked about. Okay? The biggest thing is, in my opinion, the most important is that why. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Because that why is what gets you out of bed at 4:45 in the morning to do that run. It's what
in the cold,
in the
rain,
in the snow, whatever it is. Whatever it is. You know, and to give you guys a little personal experience, my why started out as one thing, and now I'm at the point now where I have 2 children that I love more than anything, and I want to show them that there's things that are so important that you're willing to work for.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't matter that it's not easy.
Yeah.
You work hard to accomplish certain things. And I could say that's the only reason I'm doing it, but now with this 100-mile race, it's to prove something to myself.
For sure, and you got to do that sometimes. You know, it's not about everyone else. It's sometimes about what's inside.
It is. And we as people, every now and then, need the chance to strip back the layers. To strip back, I'm dad. I'm Dr. Dana. Mm-hmm. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm this. I'm that. I'm the other. You get down to that raw version of yourself, and you either will or you won't.
Yeah.
And you need to figure that out.
And it can be that first 5K.
Yeah.
It can be a 10K. It can be 100-miler this year.
It doesn't matter.
You know?
It doesn't matter.
You stepping out of the comfort zone.
Me running 100 miles is no different than somebody getting off the couch and running a 5K.
Yep.
You know, Kipchoge, his quote. I love his quote. The miracle is not that you finished. It's that you started at all.
Yeah.
The race is easy. Starting to train is the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that why comes in. Why are we doing this? And sometimes we start these endeavors, but that why isn't strong enough. That why just does not exist. And that's the thing we have to really, really hone in. Why are you here? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. And now you know the why and the how.
Sure. Now just do. Salud.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Complete Runner podcast. And join us next time. Thanks, man. Drink your beer faster. Rockin'.
la 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 la.
That's what all the professional people do.
Go do that.
Okay.
Okay, now the second part. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You can bleep anything out.
Edit.
Run happy for life with Brooks. That's funny. I listen to my brain a lot then.
Gets me in nothing but trouble.
Water.
He's going to be better off with whole food.
Yeah.
Okay? With eating. Sorry. It's my wife.
You have a duck as
Drives the dog nuts. It's kind of fun when the duck quacks on my phone and the dog's trying to find it. Yeah. The black lab, they're hunters.
Yeah.
We'll get to nutrition in a minute.